Hey everyone, it's me, Garrett. And as you can tell, because I'm wearing a hat, I'm exhausted. I'm fresh back from BlizzCon. I am recording this first thing Tuesday morning because I already voted, so I don't need to go worry about that. I got in late last night, and I will be spending my entire morning editing all of the wonderful things that we had a chance to record while out at BlizzCon 2016. Definitely go check it all out. We've got a Heroes interview with some of the developers from Heroes of the Storm that will be coming to Into the Nexus this Thursday. We have an interview with some Team 5 developers with all three of us from The Angry Chicken, which will be going up on the next episode of The Angry Chicken. The entire Overwatchers crew, so Patrick, Chanman, myself, plus Scott Johnson, got to do a panel from the floor of BlizzCon in the Dark Moon Fair, where we talked to three developers from the Overwatch team about everything that they announced at BlizzCon, and that will be going up on the Overwatchers feed here in just a day or two. Depends on how fast I can actually get the video edited, because there were a lot of issues with our video, so I'll need to do some cleaning up. But definitely go check that out if you don't usually listen. But what you are about to see and hear here is our live podcast that we did at the end of the final night of BlizzCon. This is The Angry Chicken meets The Instance. So I've been calling it The Angry Instance. Hope you enjoy it. It is all four members of The Instance and all three members of The Angry Chicken. Which means Dills is bridging the gap because he is a permanent member of both of those podcasts. This was an absolute blast, an absolute treat. Members from Blizzard showed up to talk about Diablo, to talk about World of Warcraft PvP, to talk about the music of the games of Blizzard Entertainment. It was very special, and it almost didn't happen. It almost didn't happen because we didn't have AV equipment. Our AV guy left earlier than expected, and we really wanted to talk about all of BlizzCon and not do one of our normal kind of mid-con shows where we miss part of the con, don't actually know the whole story. So we waited until the final night, and Pat Crane, who is a very talented podcaster, and our hero brought over a mixer that we could use so we could actually have this happen. And it was really special. We completely packed the room in the Hilton that this happened in. But sadly, this means that there's no video. There's no video for this, so this really only impacts the YouTube audience, but you'll probably just see a couple images that I put together from BlizzCon while this is on YouTube. I still wanted to put it on YouTube because I know there are some of you who only consume our products via youtube.com/AMoveTV. So I'm still putting it there, but in case you're wondering why there's no video, that's why, because this came together rather last minute, and completely because of the kindness of other podcasters who let us borrow their equipment. So again, huge thanks to Pat Crane, because otherwise this wouldn't have happened, and this was a major highlight of BlizzCon for me. So I'm going to stop talking now, and you can listen to the rowdy good time of far too many podcasters and guests trying to do their best to not talk over one another. Here it is, the live from BlizzCon 2016 podcast, The Angry Instance. Enjoy.
Oh, you didn't write that? Oh.
Everyone, get in here!
Ready for action! I've got the beast in my sight.
A podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. This is The Angry Chicken.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the joint podcast of The Instance and The Angry Chicken. And welcome everybody here. How about a big round of applause for what we're... Let's make sure we get everybody introduced. To my immediate I'll get back to you, don't worry. To my immediate left, I'm Scott Johnson, by the way. To my immediate left is Patrick Beja from France, now Finland.
Really?
Wait, what?
Well, you're there now.
Yes.
I mean, not now, but
Now
now
France
yeah,
via
all right.
Finland.
I thought it was like an Overwatch thing. Finland went
How's it going? BlizzCon.
Yeah, BlizzCon 2016. Woo!
We're so tired, it's not even funny.
Yeah,
great
for
job.
Those who aren't, for those who aren't here live now, listening on the podcast, we're doing this like so late. It's been 2 days of
It's 9 o'clock.
It's 9 o'clock, you old crone.
My God.
So the Angry Chicken crew is kind of younger.
I have 5 more drinking hours after this.
Yeah, it's like so. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
We usually
Patrick-
do the show at like 5, and this year we're doing it at 9.
Okay,
And
so
the
not
room,
that much later.
yeah, the room is
Fine.
fuller than usual. You guys are all missing the end of Weird Al for this. I really, really appreciate that. Anyway,
No,
you're Patrick from France.
Yes, I think I'm going to put this show on the Pixels feed as well.
Oh, they're going to love that. Your people will love that.
All right, Terpster
Terpster right over
is
there.
right here,
Yep.
and his beard is voluptuous.
Yeah.
Thank you. Been,
Wait, are we going to introduce people to our left each time?
I guess so.
Yeah, we're going all the way around.
And yeah, thank you. Been summarised by my facial hair. Basically, neglect yourself and it will happen. That's all I can say. What a BlizzCon. What a BlizzCon.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to talk about it. Obviously, I'm just going to bring some real hard energy at you throughout this show.
Yeah.
So if I speak too fast or just seem too excited, please do stop me.
Yeah.
I
He's
am
like
very,
David Frost in
I'm very
1978.
sleepy. I'm very sleepy.
Yeah.
1978, Scott. How old do you think I am? what references are we going to come
never
up with
seen
next?
1978.
Come on. Oh, that's such a Nixon thing to say. On my left is William Dills Gregory. Willie Dills.
Of the instance and the
Of the
Angry
instant.
Chicken. This
He
is a
is-
transition
he's
right
in
over
the
here.
middle.
Yeah, so I will transition from the instance to the Angry Chicken.
Yeah, you're our emissary.
I'm here to bridge the gap because we do hate each other. This
Yeah.
is we are direct rivals,
Yeah, it's
working in the
it's ugly.
same space.
Yeah.
Blizzard Games and Blizzard devs who work for Hearthstone and WoW. They regularly fight to the death.
Yeah.
So I'll be here to make sure that everything's okay.
Oh, and a big, before you transition to the...
I'm about to transition, Scott.
Yeah, so hold
you're
that
stopping?
your thought. I just wanted to make sure before I forget, because I forgot something real bad the other day. I don't know how many people know about this, but you'll hear it on a show sometime. You're not hearing it again tonight. Anyway, in fact, he may be here with his new fiance. Is he here?
Oh.
Oh, snap.
All right, maybe I'll tell that story at the end of the show.
Wait a minute. This is the worst transition ever.
Well, hold on.
It's a really
I'm
good
just going to
story,
stop
too.
you before you transition to
Segue
do
quietly
nothing
over there.
To do no, I'm going to stop you and do
But
nothing.
with no resolution either. Just pose a question.
We'll see.
We'll see you
About
next
a man and
episode.
his fiance, and you forgot something? Is
I will
Kim
explain.
here?
I will explain. She's here
Did he
somewhere.
forget?
I've heard him
Promise.
pulling a Scott Johnson.
I will.
before,
I will
but
tell you
Jesus.
the story at the end of the show. It's funny. It's
Oh,
heartbreaking.
so it's a teaser.
It has a happy ending.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm teasing it. Exactly.
Well,
It's a one more thing.
It has a happy ending in the sense that you messed up and they did it anyway.
Yeah,
So-
that's basically it.
Oh,
And they're
I
sweet-
think
very
I
sweet,
know.
nice
I think
people.
I know what's going on.
Yeah, you may have heard about this.
Yeah.
All right, so it's really honestly the most embarrassing thing I've ever
It's
done.
fine.
Here's the next thing I was
It's
going to say.
fine.
I want to make sure I thank Pat Crane of the CTR podcast.
Oh, yes.
You can convert to Raid. Where is he?
He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. Cool guy.
He's cool anyway. I mean, I would just say that about him anyway, but these microphones and that mixer and this hardware, and big thanks, Garrett, by the way, for the computer and this sound bar from, who gave us the sound bar? I forgot already. Oh, hey, man. Thank you.
Now remember, guys, pay attention because you get a chance to win it all at the end of the show.
We're going to throw all of it into the audience as hard as we can.
Yeah. But if it wasn't for these guys and them deciding to be very gracious and pitch in, we were kind of out of luck tonight. It was going to be like an improv up here with no mics, no recording, and no podcast. So really, really, really appreciate that. All right, transition
Name a place
away.
in Azeroth.
Man.
Come on, just name
I
one.
mean, I don't even know how to continue after that.
Gazazan, name another place in Azeroth. So I
All right. I'm gonna. It's transition time. All right.
All right,
You
go.
ready for this smoothness?
Yeah.
That's about
Stop
to go down.
interrupting.
It's like butter.
intro.
This is Jocelyn. She's really good at Hearthstone. She has the coolest hair at all of BlizzCon, and she's one of my favorite people. So
Aw.
Jocelyn,
Jocelyn, everybody. Jocelyn.
Thank you.
One of us is going to get clapped.
See how it's done?
Yeah, you're right.
That was wonderful. I don't even know what to say after that, except for everyone. I want you guys to welcome the man on my left, the wonderful, all the way from Florida, Garrett Weinzerl. Yes, I know. These guys talking about my hair, but like the Garrett hair is something else.
They're better at getting claps than we are. Have you noticed?
Yeah. You guys got no claps.
I'm glad you didn't put it on.
All the way from Florida.
All the way from Florida.
At least one.
Would you believe it's the youngest person at the table?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, breaking stereotypes. Yeah.
Live longer than all of us.
So I guess I was a runner-up in the hair game. So Jocelyn was her hair is the Korea to my every other country.
Yeah.
EU? Oh, yeah? Wow. I would point to this man here if you'd like to look at the hair.
Actually, hold on.
Yeah.
Does anyone else remember that scene in Jurassic Park? You know, when they think the fence is off, he's climbing down.
Yeah, and he pops up.
There you go.
Yeah. That kid grew up.
Yeah, that's what it is. But it stays. Be careful near fences, guys.
He doesn't spend hours doing it every morning.
Yeah.
He just climbs an electric fence.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like it. Florida. That's what
Don't
you get.
whiz on the electric fence.
Oh, hey, BlizzCon.
BlizzCon. Hey, before we do that, one final introduction. Sitting next to me, as is tradition since 2011, the one, the only Russell Brower. Clap for him. Sorry. It's just that's the game I play.
This will be the year of cutting hair, Jocelyn.
Yes.
I cut a foot off last week.
So did I.
I saw him walking around fine earlier.
Nerdtacular 2015. You had hair down to here, so I'm very impressed.
There is so much talk about visuals on the show where there is no video.
It doesn't really work very well.
I feel so bad for our listeners who are showing up to the YouTube wondering why I just.
But we love you guys more. That's why.
Yeah.
Garrett doesn't love you as much as
No, the point I'm saying to the YouTube audience is, sorry, you need to just show up.
That's right. You need to come to BlizzCon next
year. You need
year.
to up your podcast game.
So let's get to it. Let's talk about what's happening. This is BlizzCon 2016. I can't speak for everybody, but I came into this con with mixed expectations. I wasn't sure what to expect. I knew that Legion was what it was, and it was a huge success, and we all love it, and everyone's really glad it turned out rad. But I didn't think we'd get much in the way of WoW news, and it turns out we had to just wait for some panels and Q&As, and maybe some of the best WoW news ever. So 7.1 and 2 sound great. They really do. You doing some new stuff for it, some new music?
Yeah, already 7.2 is, you won't hear it for a while, but it's
in the bag.
Yeah.
All right. Sneak
us
a track.
7.3, and I know all about 7.3, and that's all I'm going to say.
Ooh.
All right.
You really do?
Notice the cocktail in his hand. No musician drinks a cocktail until it's all
By the end
done.
of the show.
About an inch from the bottom.
This is a confident man.
That's like 10 fingers or whatever.
I poured 10 fingers of whiskey.
Oh yeah, Guy is here. We have to be careful. Anyway, I didn't know what to expect, so I just want to. I think maybe we go around with maybe overall impressions real quick. You all right over there? You good? You can see me, right?
Yeah.
Just
No, we're just saying that's good. I don't have the microphone. It's just a lot of innuendo. Just carry on.
All right, here goes. So I walked away from the opening ceremonies being most impressed with two things. One, that there was new Diablo content I really was interested in. Ended up playing
Diablo content.
Played that.
I'm on Team Gills here.
Yeah.
I played the Necromancer. Immediately fell in love again because I love that character in Diablo 2. Huge fan of that. And I, as much as it's some content for the existing game. This isn't Diablo 4 or whatever. I don't care. I want a new class. I want to play it. I'm stoked about when that happens. It sounds like we're not getting that until 2017. And then we get the news that Diablo 1 is being remade in the Diablo 3 engine. That's super exciting to me. But I also realize I may be, a little biased because I love Diablo.
So for Diablo, this is going to be for the month of January. We get to play through the kind of the classic Diablo game, and that's going to happen every year. Is that will return to D3, and I think that's really cool. Now the Necromancer is actually going to be charged. You're going to have to pay for that, which is the first time we've really had a kind of a DLC type thing. Like a microtransaction outside of like the Real Money Auction House and some of the early stuff. Yeah. But something that was really interesting today, during the WoW Q&A, J. Allen Brack said about how they're talking about trying to make the token, so rather than just game time, you can convert it into Battle.net balance. So I'm actually thinking I'm going to be able to pay for my Necromancer with gold I've farmed in WoW, which is pretty much the dream.
That's pretty
I think that's amazing.
Which might be a way to drain some of the excess gold from the economy to probably
That Terpster's introduced. Right?
It's all me. So hopefully you can buy the Necromancer every time he dies. Obviously you've got to buy him again. When I heard that, I was like, really, Blizzard? Come on, that sounds a bit money grabbing. That's not true. Sorry, guys. I just Russ will give me evils. I was getting over there. But wouldn't that be good? That'd be great.
Yeah, it would be great. I mean, I don't know what to expect from that, but I'm hoping that thing's $15, $10, $12. I don't know.
How much would you pay for it?
20. No, I'd pay 20.
Scott's a really bad example. Really bad example.
How much is Medivh as a skin in Hearthstone? And you're going to tell me you'll pay $4.99?
Don't bring Hearthstone into this.
Yeah, you leave Hearthstone out of this, man.
First of all, different game.
Actually, can I may I share a quick story about my reaction to Diablo?
Sure,
Someone came up to me last night and said, "Oh, what do you think about Diablo?" And I was like,
Did you play it yet, though? Did you play it the Necromancer?
Let me finish my story, Scott. Let me finish my story.
He's very defensive about it.
And I, with my beer in my hand and a couple deep, I just kind of blurted out, "God, disappointing. It's just disappointing. I was expecting. I want more content, or I want Diablo 4. I just want a new world to explore." And then they go, "Well, are you going to buy the Necromancer?" I said, "Yes."
Of course you are.
So yeah, no, I'm stoked as can be for the Necromancer. I just
content as well.
So the Necromancer is part of the. It's the first character pack, which comes with a little bit of content, but it's basically extra slots and like additional slots for your bank and stuff like that. I don't think it's actual. There's new maps that are going to be available as well, but it's not part of the Necromancer purchase. Right?
We're getting the new tile sets and map content ahead of time.
Yeah.
Before we get that, and that's coming as a free patch. I mean, the way I look at it is they'll beef that up. They'll never charge for that unless it's an expansion.
No.
Right?
No, they're not going to charge for that. But the thing is, first of all, the Diablo 1... the Diablo 1 thing is a sort... It's not really Diablo 1, very pure Diablo 1 in HD. It's like a Diablo 1 mod in Diablo 3, right? It's not going to be made to look like with a filter that pixelates things.
It's optional. The animation's down. So the animation... You've got 8 directions you can move in, so you can. It's not 3. The attack animations are still from D3.
I thought he was kidding about that.
No, it's real.
Wait, no, you were serious?
Yeah,
that sounds awful.
No, honestly, but the point of it is it lasts for a month. It's like anyone who did Molten Core when it came back for the anniversary event. Is all like, oh man, when are they going to put 40-man? Oh shit. That's terrible, isn't it? Is it really that bad?
That's my point.
Oh
so
my
why would you?
Because it's special. It's a special 10-year celebration.
Special bad. Special bad.
Exactly. It's special because it's good for us for a month. Beyond a month, no.
Okay.
So Brian over there. Brian should be over here.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to make.
Come on over here.
Hey,
we're bringing in a special
John
guest.
McGraw, speaking of Diablo.
Oh, here we go. Oh, no.
And Brian Malinka finally gets to hug Terpster. Finally.
Good to see you, buddy. Have a seat.
You switched out of your normal Blizzard attire. You look much sexier.
Looking good.
Very sexy. Brian is like the MacGyver of Blizzard, I think.
He is.
I don't make anything.
We'll get to some PvP talk at some point and see if we can get Brian to talk to us.
I do have to leave.
He's here now.
We
do it now, Scott. What are you talking about?
We were just talking about Diablo, and your ears are probably, ringing. But we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that, because if you can't be here very long, I do want to get any PvP talk we want to get out of it. Now, I just want to say real quick an impression I had at the conference this year. The crowd noise for all eSports is pretty loud and deafening, no matter what. But man, I don't think I've heard anything as loud, and I even mean like these Heroes Finals and everything, and they were pretty loud. Standing near the arena stuff blew my mind. So here, I'm going to have you tell us what you think about how all that went.
Yes. Let's talk WoW eSports.
We had
Brian Holig, everybody. Give him a round of applause.
We're very lucky to have kind of like really interesting stories going on in WoW Arena. We had in the finals today, we had Splice, who they were a European team. They were the reigning champions. They're logo looks exactly like the Cobra Kai logo from Karate Kid. And then we had Method, who was, you had Chuck Doolin, Sidhu, who is a popular streamer. He's been to BlizzCon. I think
he's the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah. He's like plays fifth, then fourth, then third, then second. And so there was, North America, everybody was so behind Chuck.
Not everyone, though. Certain people in the convention were cheering on the Europeans.
The North American people were. So it was just awesome. The game. It went to Game 7, and Method literally had the guy down. They had Botar, who was the Splice, the EU paladin, down to 2% health. It looked like they were gonna win. He was able to get away, heal himself up. They turned it around. They killed him, and in the end, Splice won. And they're the first two-time BlizzCon champions for Arena. Fabs is the first 3-time BlizzCon. I don't even think in any other eSports.
No, that doesn't happen.
Blizzard, 3 times he's won a BlizzCon championship, so pretty unprecedented. We were very fortunate to have such an exciting story going on in WoW eSports. So it was a great time for us. Today was really awesome. And I think, we're trying to make WoW Arena a thing that people who play WoW, people who are, I'm not assuming all of you play WoW, but for those
they do.
Who do. Yeah. But for those of you who do.
And if you don't, the door's right over there.
Peace.
Make it something that maybe, if you have a class that you play and you really identify with, trying to see that guy up on the BlizzCon stage and be like, I play a Pharaoh, and they, were a big turning point in the match, or I play Shadow Priest, and there they are. We want you to be able to find your esports hero out there. So we had a great.
I think it's
BlizzCon.
a huge testament to the game, though, because the skill gap in WoW Arena is so much greater than most other esports, and that's I think why we've seen consistent champions.
Yes.
It's not luck based, really.
Right.
It's not that
No, I'm just looking at the angry chicken.
Listen. I play Babbling Brook and I win. That's what I do.
In a way, this is the thing. That 2% health was if you had
showboating though, obviously.
Shaman who just got his procs, that 2% could have been gone. There was a little bit of. It was
all showboating. It was playing to the crowd. They were like, "That's it. Now let's win." And that's the beautiful thing.
So we had a
dominating.
great.
No, but it is you make a point that I think is valid. Is in WoW Arena and PvP, it's more about understanding and less about things like mechanics. It's more about strategy, and it's beautiful and it's great, and it just doesn't come across to everybody who doesn't play. And me and Brian had a fantastic talk about this earlier today. How do you convey that then to the audience, How do you convey something like a pump fake, which makes sense in basketball but doesn't make sense?
It's exactly. It's such a hard game to read in that way. And I think
but it's so beautiful when it's
one thing I think that worked really well over in Gamescom is they had kind of like challenge mode side-by-side dungeons. So one thing we all know playing WoW is it first and foremost was a PvE game, and it's the game that most of us play for most of the time. And I really enjoyed that as a competition in that it was people playing the game I play in the way I play it, but albeit better. It was see who could clear the dungeon the quickest, and they were playing alongside each other. Much better. And the thing is, I was watching stuff and be like, oh yeah, take him up against the wall. That makes sense. And that's I think the only thing Arena has is that it's so frantic and so different for a lot of people spectating. Whereas the PvE content, I think, is equally as valid in terms of a competitive thing. Wow,
I think it was awesome to see that we had the Keystone competition. You saw the queues for people who wanted to run get your fastest time in the Keystone, and everybody here, so many people are here with their guild, their 5-man team, and so they I think it was awesome to get this kind of almost like a grassroots PvE competition. I actually haven't seen the results of that. Did they post that?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, esports, it's it's one thing. It's do you play the game, and two, is there somebody you're pulling for? What we saw today was just how into Chuck Dooland so many people were. So many people were all about Sidhu and wanting to see him succeed. They play WoW, and so it was easy. it was easy to just be like, I want that guy to win, you know, in the way that you want or don't want Tom Brady to win. I'm sure maybe some people want Tom Brady.
Tom Brady
He's a Broncos guy.
is the worst.
His hat. So yeah, right. So I mean, it's very similar. It's very similar in the sense that, you know, I can watch like a football game and I don't have any stake in this team or that team, and it's pretty boring. But the moment you like, World Cup is a great example, man. Every time you show me a Premier League game, sorry, Terps, that I really just don't care. It's World Cup, now US is like on the line. I'm just like with bated breath watching this thing. Like every kick is like suspenseful. And I think that's how it was today. We saw that everybody like who really wanted Chuck to win, it was just like, oh my God, like I was exhausted. You know?
It's very real because like the competitive PvE scene is Race to World First, which you know we've all talked about lots of times on the show.
We were in a movie called
Race to World First, and that is that competitive scene. But in PvP, the competitive scene is I'm killing you now, here, that's it. I'm the best right now. It's a different animal, right? Race to World First is all about kind of preparation, setting yourself up, getting the right people in line. So many things that come in before the actual gameplay.
It's a timing thing too.
And PvP is more about I have the gear, and when you're talking about like, you know, BlizzCon World Championships, the gear is normalized. It's all about skill. Who does what they're supposed to do at the right time.
Well, and that's what's special about World of Warcraft, right? In terms of Blizzard games that are esports, that is the one that has that divide, right?
Like there's no luck. I did the right thing at the right time. I won.
Well, no, I'm saying in just your player base, because Hearthstone, the focus is on 2 decks enter, 1 deck leaves. In StarCraft, the focus is on who is the most incredible esports player in the world. Yes. Sorry, StarCraft is the best esport.
I agree.
But that's the thing with World of Warcraft, that you have this massive just community of players, and there's so many different ways to play it. That's why I think it's so interesting when you get to because I'm with Terpster. That's not how I play the game.
No, the other nice thing is WoW PvP is finally in a place. Not to say you took your time, but
iteration is how they do it. They iterated a lot. Yeah.
But they iterated, and they finally They got to a place where now the thing we love about WoW in the first place, when we're questing, when we're watching story beats, when we're raiding with our friends, when we're doing dungeons,
it's the timing of my interrupts.
It's the timing of his interrupts.
Sorry.
Like that one.
It's not that. You're right.
It's this great progression. You're always earning something. I'm getting new gear. I'm getting new eye level points. I'm earning a trinket that's hard to get off a world boss. Like there's that kind of stuff happening. And PvP never quite felt like that. It was I'm earning a currency and then I can spend that on some cool stuff. But it was in some ways that kind of feels like a job. Like literally earn the money and then go spend it on something. Now I feel like we've got multiple tracks in a PvP environment to actually find that same kind of progression in our gameplay, and that's really exciting for a guy who doesn't generally play PvP.
You can get a legendary if you queue up for a battleground for once in your life.
I need to get one, so
it happens. You can do that.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. Please listen to it. You want a legendary? Queue up for a battleground.
Okay.
It'll happen sometime.
Can we do a weekend?
Thank you. Let's do a weekend. Brian Halika, everybody.
Brian Halika. He's going to go so hammered right now.
He's a good man. I can tell.
Right, so if we rewind slightly, obviously we were talking about Diablo, and we've got the production director for Diablo here in the room, which
John
is pretty amazing. So, John, I know you can't answer this, but I just want to say it anyway. Obviously, there was a lot of talk around the anniversary event and such that, you know, like the team put in extra hours because they were doing other things. How much more is there in Diablo's future that you can't talk about?
Wow, nice work, dude.
I can't talk about it.
Okay, great. That's okay.
No, the team put in extra hours. They had their own. Josh, when they talked about the UI and him reskinning that, Josh had his own different monsters to do and all that kind of work that was going into either the dungeon or into those zones that we're creating or what have you. So that was just above and beyond. That was not what that comment meant.
So,
Diablo 3, the things we do know is that character pack, and a lot of people were expecting an expansion, were, I guess, hoping for an expansion. I think it's pretty clear now that we haven't seen one at this BlizzCon. I don't see it happening. I don't know if you guys think it's going to happen at some point, but I would be surprised. I don't know, John. Just first thing that comes to your mind. But so
the team's really excited about working on it.
So, but the thing is, it seems like
Patrick did PR for me in Moscow, so Patrick knows very well what I can.
Yeah, but he's on the other side now, dude.
I also know how announcing
he's with us
here right now.
I also know how much vodka you can drink before you. No, but I mean,
he measured it.
The thing, always keep the information until later when it becomes
12 milliliters.
But the character packs, I don't think we're going to see an expansion. But the character packs are a really interesting way of still monetizing the game, so you can still get new content for that game, even if it's not a full expansion. So what I'm guessing is happening here is they're doing this one with the Necromancer, seeing how it's going to go. If it's super successful, we might see other things. Maybe we're going to see other type of content. If it goes that way, I know, Scott, you're super excited about Necromancer. Do you think you would be happy with that type of additional content if it does happen, if you get other classes, other, things to get in the game?
Ask for the Amazon.
We want the Amazon next. Or the Amazon, I don't know what you're talking about.
The Prime version.
The Prime version, yeah. Amazon Prime.
What do you want delivered?
2-day shipping. I know we're tip of the spear, and we're all wanting this stuff because here we are at BlizzCon, we're chomping it in, we want everything you're doing. But
did you guys like the Necro?
Yeah. Yes. It's like going home. I loved everything about playing him. So I'm ready and willing. Obviously, pricing for that sort of thing hasn't been discussed or anything like that.
Right.
But I feel like that game, if the goal is to, and again, you probably can't tell us any of this, but if the goal is to have D3 have longer legs and be more than just seasons with the existing roster and have it grow out like that, I'm perfectly cool with that. I don't necessarily need. I'm not going to turn down an expansion, mind you, but what I love about the game is learning classes and playing them to death, and we've done that for 8 seasons, and it'd be really well. I guess we're in the 8th now. Are we in the 9th? What are we in? 8th. 10th. We're in the 10th. 10th. Is it really the 10th? Holy crap! 10th. All right. I have missed the last one, I guess. But anyway, so I'm ready to spend money on that kind of content. I just wonder how. Don't tell them. I almost ate that microphone just then. But
we need it to all be free. That's what we're saying.
But I'm curious. I'm just curious what the overall player base will do. And no offense to Blizzard, but they price high and then go so they can go down. It's easier to do that than go up.
All right.
I think StarCraft 2 in some ways feels like it kind of led the way for this model in some ways with their co-op commanders and their additional mission packs. And that's a game that's been out for a long time, and they have done expansions, but actually having that additional content is actually quite good value if you play through it. Obviously, if you buy it and don't play it, it's extortionate. But
Are you speaking from experience there?
Well, it took me a little while to play the first Nova, and then I was like, oh man, these are really good.
They did a brilliant job in that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that personally, getting more classes and playstyle to Diablo 3 would be phenomenal because 10 seasons in, it does begin to kind of get more familiar with the current roster. So I think you can infinitely, extend the life of Diablo, which is the most replayable game in the world.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get the Necro out first.
Yep.
And then
we'll see. And then
we'll see. Maybe you'll like it, and we'll see where we go from there.
Okay. I'm excited.
All right. I have a really, really burning question.
Diablo related?
If you killed any one of us in Diablo,
wow,
who would spawn the most snakes?
Stay a while and listen. I'll tell you.
Poisonous snakes, obviously, but yes.
So needless to say.
Wait, no one's gonna answer me? We're just moving on?
We're just gonna kiss toe right past
Deals,
it.
you would have the most snakes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also,
That's
I was
all we
really
wanted to
worried. I
know.
don't know. Did anyone here not get a chance to play the Necromancer? Have you show of hands?
If you didn't play, you,
Don't be led astray by the trailer. You have loads of skeletons. You get
23 minutes.
so many skeletons. So don't worry about it. Okay? Because I saw the video and I was like, what's it like? He's got like 6 skeletons. This isn't a necromancer. This is like a guy with a couple of skeletons. No. You get loads of skeletons. Like it is obscene how many skeletons you have.
and you can direct them around. So my favorite thing about it is the 4 key was mapped to this particular ability. And then if there's a bunch of mobs you want to, and you think they're not getting enough attention off to the right, you hover over there, hit 4, like swarm it.
And the
It's
corpse
amazing.
explosion chain, like what? Whoa. That was. I didn't know it was going to do that.
So between all of us, if we press the 4 button, who would summon the most skeletons? I guess what I want.
I would be the happiest having it. There was just so many skeletons. It was amazing.
It was good.
It felt amazing.
Felt right.
I haven't played Diablo 2 in a long time.
Oh
but
yeah, that feels
it
right.
felt good. It felt very good.
Yeah, that made
It really did. All right, so Diablo, big things happening. Really excited about it. I mean, yeah, of course, everybody came in going, maybe we'll hear about 4, or maybe it'll be a new expansion or whatever. But we got 3 big surprises. Diablo 1 being remade, which I'm excited about. Not sure about that 8-way thing. Garrett and I'll have to maybe agree on that one. Actually, maybe you can confirm it. You weren't here when we talked about that. Is the Diablo 1 remake thing let you move like normal Diablo 3, or are you like limited to your...
You literally have 8 directions of movement.
Oh, I don't know.
Suck it, Johnson.
You want Diablo 1?
No, I do, but do I? No.
Hey guys, remember how
yeah.
everyone really wanted Molten Core and then it came back and then we're like, oh hey, this isn't as good as I remember.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I ride my Core Hound every day, and I love it.
Just be super thankful it's not like, the old inventory, the gold.
Right, it's the Diablo 3 engine.
Yeah.
So
And-
the game itself it's 16 levels of Diablo 1. It's the 4 original boss mobs. It's this desaturated, pixelated, crappy-looking shader. And it's this tinny, we drop sound channels out, music. It's awesome. But it's the Diablo 3 engine. You're playing with your class. All of the items that you're getting out of Diablo, plus more and other special stuff. But it's Diablo.
And the first legendary gem for a head slot, which transmog, is the soul stone in your character's head.
Whoa.
Which is very cool.
What?
That is
Transmog
super
is
cool.
The soul shard.
All right, you're converting me. All right, last question. Is it 16 by 9 or 4 by 3?
I don't know actually.
I think, as far as I'm aware, I think it's 16 by 9 from what I saw on screen.
All right.
But I don't know because that was a presentation.
That's a good question.
But maybe, I'm sure you could just change the resolution if you wanted it old school.
Well, no, I kind of want it to be 16 by 9, so I'd be excited. Although you're right, I could just take some masking tape.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds all right. All right. 640 by 480. Looking forward to it. All right, so that's kind of what we know about Diablo. The only other third surprise is that Frank Pierce gets up on stage and talks, and that was awesome. I love seeing Frank Pierce. He was smiling.
He did a
and
great
funny.
job.
That was great. You don't always see him do that, so that was just really nice this year to see him get up and get excited about Diablo. All right, so Diablo, going good, everything's good. Let's actually talk about Hearthstone since we haven't yet.
Because Dill's walked away?
Yeah.
Oh, where did he go? Is he
He'll be back.
He'll be back in
Oh,
time.
I missed it.
He'll be back in
That
time.
was a big beer. He's probably got a
How about that swing jazz and that cinematic? That was fantastic.
Pretty good. Yeah,
I
that's
love-
pretty good.
Did you have anything to do with that, Russell?
You know, if it moves the speaker, we have something to do with it.
Yes, all right.
Excellent.
It was so... I love the music. You guys have been killing with the music. I don't even like disco, and I loved everything in Karazhan. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's been a good year as far as the music for Hearthstone has been concerned. But, yeah, Joss, how about it? Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. You were... I mean, we had... I don't think we talked about it much on the show itself, but when the Gadgetzan teaser started coming out, we were having some off-air conversation where, like, oh, but we already had GVG. Why are we going back to goblins so quickly? And there's barely any goblins. It's like every race Warcraft has ever had.
Yeah, that was one of the big concerns, I think, going into Gadgetzan. It's just we already had GVG. It wasn't that long ago. It just rotated out. And, was this going to be goblins again? Because there's so many cool things in the world of Warcraft that they could iterate on. Like, why goblins again? But luckily, they've pulled in everything. I mean, we've got these really cool 3 basically factions is what they've been kind of calling them within Hearthstone now. And so your classes get this whole other level of identity that they didn't have before. So they've got these tri-class cards now. So you can actually just do all kinds of crazy things, and you can discover other things from your faction. Like if you're a mage, you can discover priest cards. Like, I mean, not that you really want them because they're priest cards, but...
Oh, but the new priest cards.
Oh, that's true.
The new priest cards. Goodness gracious me. The board clear available to priests now. If everyone out there who, like me, loves priests are lamenting the loss of Light Bomb unless you play Wild, you're fine. Don't worry anymore. You're going to lay waste to everything.
So Terpster seems to think that this was a less than exhilarating.
Well, no, I just WoW kicked its butt in terms of news and stuff that was coming up. But what I will say is I think actually Team 5 do WoW better than Team 2 now in terms of the
storytelling,
the story and the scope of the new gadget Zan that exists within this Hearthstone world.
Don't you want an update?
Much better.
Don't you want a patch?
Exactly. So we need to have it. And the things I wasn't sure because they moved Saul Thrace the Lasher, the epic sword from Zul'Farrak into a feat of strength. So people were thinking, oh, maybe they're going to update it and we're due our troll dungeon. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but there were no troll dungeons announced. But wouldn't it be amazing if the reason that's been removed is because they're changing Gadget Zan to fall in with the Hearthstone version because it sounds so much cooler than what we have, and it has all the races of WoW in it. It's not goblins, it's not two-dimensional. It is a fantastic invention of story, and those guys play in an amazing sandbox. And we've already now seen, Sir Finley Murgerton is in Stormheim and around places. It's not impossible for WoW team to take the work that Hearthstone have done and bring it back home.
Yeah, there's 2 possible outcomes there, and I'm not sure which one amuses me more. One, that they will actually update Gadget Zan in World of Warcraft to reflect the awesomeness of the mean streets of Gadget Zan. Or 2, the WoW team is now wondering why, in God's name, everyone at BlizzCon is yelling at them to update Gadget Zan.
Yeah, I mean, that's the effect, right? Like, I saw that and got pretty excited, too, thinking, well, you can't just leave it like this and WoW now.
Yeah, man, that sounds better than our one.
God, that's awesome. Let's make that the new dollar on. Lift it up.
First of all, Hearthstone has cooler versions of everything Warcraft has ever done.
Well, no. Well, maybe. But
the Origin tournament, yeah, make that grand.
The grand
First of all.
Hold on.
Karazhan, oh, that's a party. Not a bunch of dead people and prostitutes, let's be honest. And now, Gadget Zan, that's where I send stuff to my Alliance alt that I never play. I don't even know why I'm sending him stuff. And now it's the coolest bunch of cards ever.
I'm throwing a gauntlet. Defend Blackrock Mountain, because I would argue WoW's
Blackrock Mountain. No, yeah, you're right. All right. Wrecked. All right. Good job, Gary.
Wow.
But yeah, so I mean, the new tri-class cards sound really cool. It mixes things up. To be honest with you, and again, I don't want to be too down on Hearthstone because I love the game.
Dude,
I play it.
Don't be down on Hearthstone.
I think the problem is they announced Heroic Brawls before BlizzCon and said we were going to get it before BlizzCon, and then we didn't get it before BlizzCon.
Yeah,
and I kind of feel like that.
So that
would have been a cool BlizzCon piece of excitement.
Okay, Terpster, when you play your first Heroic Brawl.
Oh, and get
Can
my
I
pack
be there?
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to paying £10 for a pack.
I cannot wait. What class are you going to play? Deck?
I'm going to play Tempo Mage or Mid-Range Shaman, depending if I want to win or not. And
it's Shaman.
Sorry, Shaman. I just don't know because it's almost too predictable now. Like with the other games, we don't know what's going to come. But part of Hearthstone existing as a proper format means that we know we're going to get certain patches, adventures, things like that. But that's the thing we didn't know we were going to get in terms of the Heroic Brawl. And I think I was more excited hearing that news than this news, even though this news is cooler.
So you're saying that you saw tri-class cards coming?
No.
Then how are you not excited?
I said, no, it's cool. But at the same time, they're always, the next expansion, I guarantee, there'll be something really cool in it. That will shift up the meta.
No, I see what Terps is saying. He's saying
I don't. He just told me he's sure there'll be something cool. I don't see what the problem is.
No. But what he's saying is he expects something that we haven't seen yet. right? And they have said that, like, with every expansion, they're always trying to do something different than what has been done, right? Which I think we can all agree that, they didn't bring Inspire back. They didn't bring Joust back. They didn't bring, the only thing that's really come back is Discover. Discover has now essentially become, like, the main mechanic in Hearthstone outside of, like, say, Battle Cry and Death Rattle, right?
But the thing is, there are some really clever uses of Discover. I mean,
these are new ways to do the same thing.
Create your spell thing where you choose like 3 times a different card to create a spell, and that was amazing. But I think I'm kind of on the side of Turfster here, which paints.
Whoa! You guys remember? Everyone, check your watches.
Changed my opinion.
Remember where you were.
I was really wrong.
Oh God!
Sorry, November 5th, 2016. But
the Cubs have won the World Series, and now Patrick is agreeing with Terpster. The election is in 3 days. The world is ending.
The world is literally ending.
The best way I can explain it is I think Hearthstone has matured really quickly and has become incredibly popular very quickly, and is now kind of in a stage that reminds me a little bit of where WoW was in maybe 2010, something like that, where we love the game and we want to play it, but at some point, there's an expansion or another that is, oh, okay, cool, but it's another expansion.
Sure.
And, it gets kind of routine a little bit. And I feel that Hearthstone is in that stage of its life at this point. I don't know if if it's me or if. But
no. Jocelyn, break it down for him.
I was just going to say, I agree, and I think that they almost shot themselves in the foot a little bit. As much as we absolutely loved all of the teasers heading into Gadgetzan, like, we knew what the expansion was already. So when they were just like, oh yeah, it's the mean streets of Gadgetzan, we're like, okay, yeah, we know. Just because their PR team and their marketing was so phenomenal that we already knew what it was. So I think that there was a little bit of the excitement was almost taken out of it because of that. Not that I was saying it was bad, because I loved all of the marketing that they did. It was really, really cool. But then you didn't kind of have that, wow, oh my God, kind of shocking factor that we had with, say, League of Explorers, that nobody had any idea what they were doing there.
Or even Karazhan. I don't know, for some reason, Karazhan this summer, it was like, I remember waiting for the stream, and someone on Twitter was hinting at the idea of something disco. And maybe, it's my love for disco that's showing there. But I was like, when they played the trailer with that, it was very exciting to me. But,
so let me say this though about this new set of cards. This new set of cards shows me that directly the community matters to the Team 5.
Yeah.
Like they paid attention to what we've been saying, which is we like randomness, but we like this kind of randomness.
Yeah, give us a range.
Yeah.
Yes,
and so don't just throw us more stuff where you're like, play this card, randomly do something. Like, stop doing that. They're not doing that anymore.
We have only seen about 30 cards, though. So
True, it could. Yeah, you're right. I don't know about babbling, the senior babbling books or whatever.
Soon we're going to have Stable Portal, and you'll just discover a card. And that's
Stable Portal. Pick a card, put it in your hand.
It costs 3 less. There you go. And you're like, sweet man, I'm going to play that card. That's so much better.
Actually, though, for 10 mana, I would play a card that was Stable Portal. Put any card you want in your hand.
For how much mana?
I think for 10.
And you pay another 10 for it?
To put any card I want in my hand.
Could you imagine the UI? You'd be scrolling.
But here's the thing. It's 10 mana. Yeah, it would suck. Obviously. Terrible card for as far as UI is concerned, but great card for me. I'm like, oh, turn 10? I know exactly what I need.
You just have to bring up the search thing.
Deathwing! Bang! Let's go.
Tree of Life, because I'm very behind.
Yeah.
No, but I'll be excited to play it. I think it's just very hard to get super excited with a small picture of what's available, and the kind of the cool, transformative, the game's doing something different than you expected news having come a week or so before BlizzCon.
Garrett, convince this man to be excited.
I just can't. Looking at BlizzCon as a whole, I just I feel like Hearthstone is being targeted in a strange way, because I think there's been a kind of a subdued reaction to most of the news from BlizzCon for the very same reasons. I mean, we were expecting a Diablo expansion or Diablo 4, And for the love of God, that hype trailer, there were 3 dice on number 4. Whoever did that is a cruel person.
Yeah. You wonder what they were thinking, really.
Yeah, and then for some reason, there's a ton of awesome.
Evil.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure. I mean, I think the PR leading up, like Jocelyn said, did too good of a job.
Maybe. I think equally, I'm just coming from a very hurt place where I don't know who was keeping notes during the keynote at the beginning, but I felt like they needed to slow down when they got into Warcraft, because I was just writing so much. They were saying, oh wait, no, they said absolutely nothing.
No.
We had a guy come out and awkwardly talk around, AI deep thinking.
Right.
And I was like, instead of what?
Yeah, that was supposed to
We're
stop
going
you
to
from-
Argus, guys. What's going on?
Listen, but you know what?
I completely agree with you there.
I would like the AI guy to play Hearthstone against me, is what I want. Like, StarCraft? No. Let's see if this guy knows how to play arcane missiles.
Everybody's poo-pooing that deep mind thing. I am going to go on the record and say, maybe it's not opening ceremony stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine with that not being there.
Is, by the way, on the record, is a huge Go fan.
Yeah, I'm a big Go fan.
For a long
but
time.
I like the idea of like testing that kind of AI stuff,
No, I love
researching
it,
stuff.
exactly.
But it's not opening ceremony
It
stuff.
there,
I
exactly,
agree.
in place of something like WoW. Which had some really cool stuff.
Well,
but maybe it's because we're going to get so much new content from WoW now because they're doing it so quick and so frequent that if they told us every single time, they'd be talking all the time. I don't know.
I wasn't even expecting WoW announcements at all. So
I was expecting them to be like,
and then WoW is a game still, and Hearthstone. Like that's what I was kind of expecting, and that's fine. But
No, I mean, at the end of the day, I completely see where you're coming from, Terpster. And if anyone's listened to like the last 5 episodes of Being Your Chicken, they know I've been extremely critical of even Heroic Brawl not doing enough new.
Have been critical.
Oh yeah, but you two were definitely a lot more excited about Heroic Brawl than I was. But at the end of the day, I look at this and I see 2 big things: A, the tri-class cards, and clans. And we've on the show talked about wanting more. Like, how can Hearthstone learn from other existing TCGs? And we bring up Magic all the time, and clans are a huge thing in Magic, and we're getting clans in Hearthstone.
It's the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing, and I love the idea. And we talked to some devs today, and the lore behind characters in Hearthstone is a very cool thing because the cards themselves, basically, you play them, they say one line. You attack, they say one other line. How do you turn them into fully fleshed out characters? It's very difficult. Yet they think of them that way. They think of all of these cards as characters. They don't think of them as just, this is a 4 or 5 that does this. This is a Murloc. He's sneaky. He's got a mustache. That's crazy. Okay, what else does he do? Like, what's he into? Does he watch, like, the 7 o'clock news? Or is he, they think of them characters so deeply, and it's amazing to hear them talk about them in that way, and we just think of them as a card. But they really are these characters, and I think this is one of the best examples of how Hearthstone can make those characters out of a card. It's crazy, and I love it.
Yeah, that is the other thing I've gotten really excited about, and that spans across all the Blizzard games, right? Overwatch, they put a ton of thought into it, but
character,
but
even
a lot of
random NPC that you never even talk to.
Yeah.
If it has a name, there's a story behind that guy.
Right. In Overwatch, they have all these lines, but there's barely any story there, and a lot of people do just log in and not think about it, but I think about it. I want comics, I want movies, I want TV shows. In World of Warcraft, there's plenty of people. I can't tell you how many times I've been on TeamSpeak or chat with Jocelyn and Jocelyn's boyfriend, and Jocelyn's boyfriend's like, Jocelyn, you're the only person who cares about the story, and I'm sitting there, no, she's not. So that happens across all games, and I think Hearthstone is really hitting its stride with its creativity in its world. It's finding its own voice. It is no longer piggybacking off of what came before it in World of Warcraft or Warcraft 3 or Warcraft 2. It's breaking through its own wall.
I have to stop you. I just see a Randy. A wild Randy.
Randy Jordan. Randy Jordan, where are you?
Can you just stand up, please, and just... Okay, you're eating a taco or something? I'm sorry.
It's nice.
He just... He wanted to sneak in, and then we just worked
Listen, Randy has worked his butt off. His birthday was yesterday. He worked that day all day. Like,
he's a hero.
He's a hero to all of us.
He's an American hero.
Thank you. Coming to Diablo.
You want to save us from the Koreans.
That's right.
Sorry, no. Never mind that.
eSports.
Randy, can you get me a burger too? That looks amazing.
Give me an hour.
All right. So, yeah, food trucks will wait a little while.
Classic
All right,
Randy.
so that's Hearthstone. Hearthstone is what it is. It continues to be great. It continues to also have its struggles like everything else. I want to talk about... We're saving WoW for last, because mostly a WoW show, the instance is anyway, so we're saving that for last. We're going to talk about Overwatch for a second.
Oh, yes.
Clearly one of the bigger announcements at the event was the final announcement of Sombra. They've been teasing her forever. This AGR went on way too long. I think we can all agree with that.
Keep it in, Patrick. Keep it in.
Not.
And there, Scott, can we just acknowledge the fact that everyone jokes about she's going to hack the keynote at the beginning and it's going to be...
Yeah.
But no, she did.
She literally did.
And the only thing that could have made it better would have been like kind of Mike Morhaime feigning like, oh my... Shut it down! And then just seeing like Jeff Kaplan grab an axe, a fire axe off the wall and severing like a server cable. It's like, it was too late. She's already in.
I have to. I want to know though. Did you guys? Were you fooled like the very first little
Yes,
clip?
yeah, I was. I thought something was broken.
I bought it hook, line, and sinker.
No.
Really?
So the
Me
thing
too.
is, the brilliance of this is that the introduction of Sombra actually came first, as I'm sure most of you seen it, but it was this. Initially, they started with the 25 years of Blizzard, and they had all of these like emotional moments that got you in the mood for like almost. Well, getting emotional, and then they had the launch of Overwatch video, where you were like, by that point you were like, yeah, I'm interested in seeing that. I want to see how it went.
I disagree. Why the heck are they showing us this? What's happening?
Okay,
I wasn't like totally poo-pooing it, but I was kind of like, oh, this seems you're hitting the brakes a little bit, not as much as DeepMind, but hitting the brakes a little bit. But
well, I liked it, and the thing is, when they first had the initial glitch,
Garrett, they're coming for you first, by the way, just so you know.
DeepMind?
Oh, the robots.
Oh, when they become self-aware. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I
just crapped all over them. They're coming for you. They're gonna beat you at go, and then they're gonna kill you.
So, and when the glitch first happened, I think everyone was like, oh, that there's something wrong, and it took a second for the entire room to realize, it was just a second, but sometimes a second is long enough that it's an actual.
Yeah. Everybody knew though. At that moment.
But so after a second, everyone was like, "Oh my god!"
It was a hype train. Yeah, it was like,
and I love that's the kind of moments
It's
that
good.
make BlizzCon worth it, right? It's like in 2008. When at WWI we had the announcement of Diablo 3, it was basically the room was dark. And we just heard that one chord, and everyone went insane. It was kind of like this. And this is amazing that it can be, they can create these kinds of moments.
Just to offer another perspective, during that film, I took a moment to look at some of my colleagues who I happen to know had not seen the film. And for all of us at Blizzard who, and if you haven't seen the film, and you imagine yourself in that place, and all of us, we've been backstage, and we've seen the rat's nest of video cables and computer lines and all this stuff. And you have to imagine at BlizzCon, every time we live in this morbid fear that will actually happen. And watching all my colleagues just die a few early deaths right there was worth every moment of it.
Patrick, so I have my the biggest bombshell question I've been waiting to ask you, because I know all of us on Overwatchers have been rather critical of how long the ARG tease has been happening for Sombra. Was it worth the wait? Because I kind of think it was. Like the fact that cheering took place like a good 15 seconds before they even showed the hero, because we figured it out what they were doing. I don't know, it was kind of worth it for me.
Well, I think it would have been as worth it if it had been 3 months of tease instead of 6.
Okay, fine.
But I agree. I mean, that brought it into place, and it did make it like, all right, now I get it.
I'm not sure how I ended up being the conductor of the hype train on this panel. I'm usually the angry
No, but
person.
I'm saying I loved it. I'm saying it was amazing. So
that hurts.
So we got
really cool.
Sombra.
She's really cool.
How many people
You guys all play
tried
her?
Sombra?
She's pretty neat.
Yeah. She's a pretty incredible character to play, because once again, they have 22 characters now, and that one is again completely different from, well, with Sombra it's 23. She's completely different from the other 22. she has a super high skill ceiling. She's going to be really difficult to play, but if you manage to play her well, she can completely change the entire dynamic of the game and of the meta.
More so than even Ana, though. Yes, she has a high skill cap. Yes, she's the kind of character that can disrupt things, especially in very skilled hands. But she felt very natural to play immediately. Like I like that about her. I can tell that like Blizzard thinks she's easy to get into and hard to master.
Yes, absolutely. But the thing is, her kit requires you to.
Sounded wrong.
You said she was easy to get into. Settle down. He's really he's from Utah, guys. He doesn't even know what he's saying.
Moving on.
Go ahead.
The thing is, it's very easy to use her abilities and to just die.
Hey-o, stop it, guys. Keep it on gaming.
I give up.
Perfect.
Terpster's got this. Don't worry.
No, genuinely very fun to play.
Patrick giving up.
Closest similarity is, I think, Tracer in terms of she's that sort of aggravator.
Okay.
She kind of gets in there and messes things up. I think that some of the interesting stuff that's already happening, like you can hack a health thing so no one else can use it, and you can also drop your kind of recall beacon on it as well. So then you become Tracer. If you can do that within 15 seconds, you can go take some damage and jump back. But even then, the first thing I did, we were playing on Ilios, and I alley-ooped her little teleport beacon, and that was the coolest thing. I've never done it with the basketball, but it's really easy with the beacon, so you can feel like a badass, just straight in.
And if you teleport right as it is passing the hoop, you get into... Yeah, it's amazing.
The hook.
But so basically what you can do with her is get into the back line, and as you were saying, if you can hack other characters, and they can't use any special ability, but you can also hack the health packs. And we were talking about this with the devs at the Overtalk panel we had earlier today, and they were saying, it lasts 45 to 60 seconds, and your cooldown is like 10, 12 seconds. So you could imagine someone who goes in the back line, starts disabling all of the health packs, so when you disable them, your team can still use them, and they regenerate like 3 or 4 times as fast, but the enemy team can't. So you can disable like 2 or 3 of them, get in, disable the Reinhardt's shield, and teleport back to the thing you had thrown 15 seconds ago and disable someone else. You've done the entire job of your team to allow them to come in and take the point. It makes attacking really different from what it's been until now. If you have one or two, well, just one now because you can't hero.
Yeah, she's weirdly utilitarian at the same time. Like doing what you just described is part of the high skill cap. Her bullets aren't that dangerous.
Much like Tracer though. If you're in close,
a little bit,
they get the job done.
Yeah, they do okay in close.
But she's also extremely squishy.
Yeah.
So Winston's the hard counter because he just wrecks her. You teleport out of the way. He jumps and closes that gap.
Mm-hmm.
There's ways to play around it. But when you look at the current meta, we saw all the teams in the World Cup running a Reinhardt and a Nana.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, well, you could see how Sombra fits in there though as well. Like how much that kind of handles some of those heroes that you're always encountering. But then it means you've got to push someone else out.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the inclusion of a character like Sombra that is that effective in the right hands is just so good for the game. When you have too many good characters to pick from.
Yeah.
It's
but the important thing in Overwatch is counterplay. Like that is the key to the game, right? So every character that counterplays another character is hugely important.
But equally, ults are so important as well. And so her ult is an EMP, and again, using that at the right time just can flip games.
For the current meta, usually what people do is that you have an Ana that's going to have her nano boost, and you nano boost, either Reinhardt or Genji or Reaper, and when that happens, if you have your Sombra ult, you press the button, everything's, it's done. Everything's stopped, you're safe. It's super important. But equally as interesting as Sombra, they announced the new arcade mode, which has a couple of new,
3v3, 1v1.
Yeah, 1v1 and 3v3, right?
Yeah.
And that's
like Quake Arena from back in the day.
Exactly. And so 1v1, you get a random character assigned
You get a random Soldier
both.
76.
So it's a random character, and both players in the game have to play that one character. It's not like random and different on each side. So it's really like we will know who is the best between the two of us. And
The meta will
3v3
emerge, yes.
and 3v3 is no respawn. So if you kill an enemy, they're done, and they can only watch what's happening. And I'm really curious to see what's going to be happening to the game and the possibly even pro scene once these modes are in. Maybe they're going to be really popular and people are going to do tournaments with those. It's definitely possible.
Exactly, and it's given them a test bed, much like brawls in Hearthstone have, and brawls are being added into Warcraft as well.
And Heroes of the Storm as well.
And exactly, and so it's this great place for Blizzard to have this huge crowdsourcing playtest to see, hey guys, what do you think of this? How about this? How about we do it this way and that way?
I've really liked that movement by most of the Blizzard games as a whole, because it's something we talk about on the Angry Chicken all the time. Is we much prefer it when they talk to us about what they're thinking, when they're not 100% sure, when it's definitely not coming down the pipeline. Like, just give us an idea of where your heading is, and that's what these brawl modes have really given all of these games the chance to do. Like we were talking to the Overwatch developers today up in the Dark Moon Fair, and they said, yeah, this is where we're going to put things where we're not 100% sure about. And it even has a popularity meter that we'll be able to see publicly. And he said, yeah, if it dips into the red, you probably won't see that again.
It was nice to hear about the data they're collecting and how they're analyzing it. And that confirmed everything I needed to know about the fact that these brawls and these weird things and the Halloween event, which everyone loves so much, these things are feeding them data about player stats and how long people stayed in and who quit early and how many people came back and played 3 more times in that mode or whatever, or which ones are they just dropping altogether and don't care about. How did Lucio Ball do against the Halloween event and that sort of thing. That's great. I like that we're basically doing beta testing for them of new modes of the game.
Exactly, but unlike the WoW PTR, it's on my characters with my progression, and it's in my game. I can dip into it. I haven't got to do anything different or download anything different. It's great.
By the way, Diablo brawls?
Oh, bring it out arena.
You thought you were done.
But I mean, this kind of leads on to what I think we were saying. I think it's the biggest news out of BlizzCon that maybe not a lot of people realise is the biggest news out of BlizzCon, and that is Overwatch League.
Yes.
This is truly huge, like and transformative, and like wow. I'm still processing basically what Blizzard are attempting. And I think, knowing Blizzard, I think the first season or so we see maybe, a smaller iteration to refine it. And certainly talking to people, it doesn't seem like they're quite ready to tell us too much more.
It's a great idea, and I love it. The one thing I'm concerned about is when it comes from the company that makes the game, right? Because if you think about, like, Major League Baseball, right? Like, there's all the teams, and they all have their ownership. But then there's Major League Baseball, right? So they're not all the same, right? So I think this is the way to go. This is definitely the way to go. Tie it to a city. Give us like players who don't make or don't make money based on only winning the major tournament, right? They actually now have a viable income source as just a player of this game, a professional player of this game. It's perfect. It's great.
Right, if you think of it as a franchise, okay, let's say we all
this
chip
is like
in.
the first company to jump in and do it, and this is great.
Exactly.
I love it.
Should we get?
But hopefully,
Riot do it,
okay,
and
yes,
I
absolutely.
think
You're right. But what I hope for in the future is an overarch, like some sort of league creation that then brings together the players.
One thing
that isn't the game-making
So
company.
they certainly have said
But you have to do it. At
this
some
isn't
point. You gotta jump
exclusive.
in.
This isn't exclusive. Other stuff can go on, and I think chiefly Blizzard, being Blizzard, always likes to control every tiny thing. I'm sure if you were a catering company who came in to do sandwiches, someone would come in and say, well, hang on, no, you want to butter the bread first, and then then put that on. And make sure you do, because Blizzard is all about making something fantastic for other people to experience. And I think that there's been a lot of scandals in esports and that world, and I think it always poorly reflects on the game company. If you look at some of the stuff that's happened around CS:GO, and Valve gets blamed for everything, and yet they haven't done a lot of it or anything. And maybe they could have done more, but this is Blizzard doing more. This is Blizzard saying, okay, cool, we're going to make sure our players have a minimum wage. You can't exploit these players, and we're going to make sure their contracts are fair, and you can't lock these people into unfair deals. And equally, it's a franchise, so if we all want to chip in, guys, we could own an Overwatch team. And everyone knows, me being proud of where I came from. I want my South Korean team to really, and I just think that it'd just be good to bring it home. Is what I'm. So again, if anyone wants to chip in with me, that'd be great.
His team is called Crusher 99, so...
You can't have numbers in the name!
I know, that's so funny. It's my favorite meme of the week, because people upstairs, we noticed somebody put in the name before I got there, and it was Crusher Nin. Like N-I-N-N-I-N. They're all trying to figure out how to get numbers in there.
Exactly. You can't do it. You teased us, Blizzard. And again, maybe it was an early feature. They pulled it from play. They found out people were writing boobies using just numbers. They thought, we're going to take it out. We can't have it. But the Crusher thing had already been shot. And what an amazing video, though. That Crusher, that was, firstly, also, so music-wise, that is the first time I remember at least a proper Blizzard video using licensed music.
I'm pretty sure that was the story of LeBron James, right? It was the build it up, it goes down. Yeah. Oh, build it up again!
Yes, I was waiting for get hooked on coke. Your wife's
divorce your wife.
Exactly.
How does that work?
Hug the cactus. Join the league.
Do you guys? Is that a decision made by the music team when something like that happens, or do you guys? You beholden to other things, and everyone thinks esports needs some cool rock and roll.
Because that was Justice, wasn't it? It's an amazing track. Yeah. It's really good.
This is a whole new world. So in this case, the team that is creating and promoting this whole thing, and the PR involved with that, they were real specific with what they wanted to do. So we supported them in that.
And again, such an exciting, brave frontier for Blizzard. It is completely different from anything they've ever done before. It's completely different from anything we as Blizzard players have ever experienced before. And everyone who comes to BlizzCon ends up encountering esports now. You can't avoid it. It's the predominant loud thing of the show. But to think that now that can be my regular Thursday evening, and that they're somehow going to corral players into playing different teams at different times, and that's going to be broadcast somewhere, and this is a league I can follow, and I think this is just amazing, just truly massive.
Yeah, I think the one really great thing about Overwatch League is basically it's tackling the one big problem that at least we've seen a lot of in Hearthstone, which is the fact that players can't focus on just being players if they want to make a salary. It's really, really hard to actually make a living being a Hearthstone player. A lot of the tournaments only reward money for, top 4 or possibly top 8 finishes. And so it's hard to find advertisers that are going to actually support you to the point that you don't have to do anything else. So basically, basically what they end up having to do is to split their focus between being an athlete and then being a content creator. And as everyone here at the table can say, content creation takes a lot of energy and time. So if you're trying to do both things at once, it's just you're not going to get the best play. And so this allows players to just focus on being the best at the game. So I think that benefits all of us as fans because we're now going to see a next level of play because they don't have to worry about anything else. They're just going to be paid to play, and that's the end of the story.
And equally, there's no reason not to think that Blizzard, who includes everyone, I mean, probably not for the first season or so, but I'm hoping there's going to be like a Pee-wee league that I can join or something, and then obviously there's going to be a fantasy league. That for me, who's not going to want to put together their own team of the best Overwatch players across the globe? Oh man, transfer window's coming up though. I better see if I can get Patrick on my team. Well, not you, obviously. Yeah.
You don't want me on your team. Patrick's very good. You should get him on your team. Yeah. He's the best. I have the scarf already, so. What are you doing here? So, we talked about the financial aspect of it, which is huge, and is going to enable, a lot more teams and a lot more players. So,
make a much more, even more, lively scene for Overwatch as an esport. The other half of this is how local it's going to be. You alluded to it with your South Korean origins.
My homeboys.
Yeah, but
Turfster with the Soul team. Yeah, all right.
That's going to be huge for getting people behind those teams, right? It's really hard to get, unless you're already into esports and you know all of them. It's really hard to get excited for NVUS, right?
I don't root for the AT&T Giants, even though they play at AT&T Park.
Exactly.
But I root for the San Francisco Giants.
There you go.
Yes.
So
from San Francisco.
But that's why it was fun yesterday to sit with you and root for France in your silly stuff you had on. And they didn't do great. It's fine.
Did they lose? Did they lose to Russia?
They did.
They lost.
Oh no! Trump's gonna be president.
Don't say those words.
Sorry, not a political podcast.
There's going to be so many reviews.
It was a great example because it was a team that was, half pro, half just casters, and they managed to pull together to get out of the qualifications, and they got into that quarterfinals. Everyone was saying, Russia is going to be 2-0. There's not even going to be a contest. And it was so close. Like, till the end, we were certain it was possible for them to win. And that's the kind of story that you can absolutely get behind. If they had been, the France Telecom Overwatch people,
what was that
no
word?
one would have cared.
France Tele what?
What was it?
No, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, I see. That's your point.
Right. So that aspect of the Overwatch League is going to be really important. It's going to be
it's the thing we say about esports for years now, and we talk about it on that Rally Point podcast all the time. How do you get regional, local, or even national pride going?
It's still what this morning I was in there, and my whole row we all said Sweden, right? And not one of us was Swedish, but obviously Mina and Patrick's from Finland helped me pick a side. So
it was Sweden versus Finland, for those who don't know.
Sweden won. Spoilers. One of the best. No, exactly. One of the best games of Overwatch I've ever seen in terms of back and forth. Literally, the last round is best of 5. In that 5th round, Finland had 99% of the point. Sweden had 0% of the point. They flipped the point and then they held it perfectly to win 100 to 99.
Yeah.
And that was right to the wire. And
I swear they made that mode for esports.
But the place just erupted, and especially all of us. We'd written out. I had Sweet Den for the win, and we drew a Swedish flag. They gave us signs and stuff we could decorate, and everyone's clapping these big balloon fingers. But it almost taking away the brand. It wasn't Team Dignitas or Cloud9 or anything like that. It was a more broadly understandable team.
I was watching the League of Legends World Championships, and I was either rooting for Samsung or SK.
Well, they were Samsung was explode.
I'm like,
they were on fire.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So,
they really sizzled out at the end.
The jokes aside,
dad jokes.
It is so much better to root for a city or a country or
this is part of the reason
or players, not a company.
No, I agree. I think this is part of the reason that Heroes of the Dorm is so engaging.
Because it's the college you went to.
What you have to realize from the rest of the world's perspective is it's the most American thing in the world. Literally, you've invented something. We don't even have dorms. And it's like, you've named it, you've done it basically because it's a pun.
Well, that's the thing.
But it's great. We're kind of, but not really. Not in the same way.
Well, you make a joke, but you're actually hitting on another point that I wanted to ask the two Europeans about because, no, I'm serious.
Wait, we brought you here.
It was one time.
Corner you.
It was one time.
You see,
it's fine. It wasn't. No, exactly.
You see, we've got you in a corner. So now we've got you.
Hold on.
Where we want you.
I want to hear this xenophobic question. Go ahead.
No. There was a lot of talk about how we're hoping we'll get state teams, and I'm not sure I care all that much because I think part of it is the American mindset and soccer or football. Is not as popular here as it is in just about every other country in the world. We're so tied up on our teams that are attached to states or universities, and I have always looked at esports as more analogous to soccer/football. because it's a global. It's always been global. So I'm not sure it needs to get down to that same level.
Tied to us.
Not the same level, but like countrywide. Like tonight, the finals for Heroes, we noticed something. The UI was weird. It said Korea versus
Europe.
who did they play? My brain's dead.
Europe.
So it said those up top, and then down below,
Fnatic.
Fnatic. And the Korean team
And the
I
one
can't
that
think of. Ballistic. So they did that, and it didn't go unnoticed by me. It's the first time I've said, "Oh, they put country v country."
Yeah.
I don't think that's by accident.
No, because it works.
Yeah,
and
it works.
does. It helps.
It got me
helps
into
you.
it more.
Yeah, exactly.
It galvanizes the base.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's a great thing, and we'll have to see how it spins out, because I don't know how they're going to divide it up. You know, is my city of Bristol going to get a team, or is it going to be England? Do we have a national team because
But you pick the
we're
city
comparing it that way?
closest to you. That's the thing, though.
But that's what I don't know in terms of the
because-
league, how big it is, how many teams are there going to be allowed in the league?
I think they don't know yet.
Yeah.
No, I do know because I have a lot of family in San Jose. They are between LA and San Francisco, kind of. They can pick LA, and some of them do. They're idiots. But most of them pick San Francisco because they're like an hour away.
And that's fine, but for
But
Overwatch,
like,
we
if
just don't know what
if
they're
it's a
how they're
region,
gonna fragment
sure.
it.
No, we don't
That's
know.
the thing.
But-
So we'll have to wait and see.
But I think a region is very important. I think it really does.
Oh,
like,
100%,
'cause
exactly,
do you want
yeah.
to root for Samsung? No, you don't.
No,
Like, that's
exactly.
a phone I buy. That's not a
Exactly.
team I root for, right? So.
But yeah, anyway, it'd be exciting to see how it pans out. But in terms of big announcements of, I think again it's a little bit. I don't think we truly appreciated how massive it is because it didn't have an ARG leading up to it, or it wasn't necessarily as shiny and as fully fleshed out as a lot of the things we see from Blizzard are. They didn't fill us with the complete. This is how it works, but. Wow, this is the biggest thing out of Blizzard since since Overwatch launched in terms of hey, we're making another game.
It's definitely the most important announcement of this BlizzCon, I think.
Yeah.
I think so. It also has far-reaching impacts on the other games potentially.
Yeah.
Speaking of other games, so that you all can get some sleep tonight, we're going to move on to World of Warcraft. Nothing really on stage.
Scott, we should also move on to other people asking us questions.
Oh, do we have? Sorry, Lank, did you?
Just.
Well,
people.
we can blitz through
Let's
this.
get
I mean,
the people
we'll
in.
run through
it.
Yeah. More patches. So
7.2. Let's go.
7.1.5.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So we're getting a half patch, which is going to come with content that's good to go. We're not waiting on the next raid or anything like that. So we get Brawlers Guild. We get what else is back?
Class mounts. Oh wait, that's not the half patch.
That's
7.2.
There's Mist, Time Walker. There's the micro holidays, which when he first said it, I was like, what are you talking about?
I'm all in on that.
And Kiraj Remembrance Day. And so your Horde and Alliance go to Silphus and have to fight it out. And the ones who win have their flag up for the whole year. Yeah, that's
I love it. And some of these are like a couple of days. Some of these things are a day. Some are a week long.
The interesting thing is they said the reason we haven't had the Stranglethorn fishing tournament for so long is because of the sharding that goes on now with WoW, and that a server is quite hard to define in terms of what are you on and who.
Shard.
Wait, what?
Shard.
Not shard?
Not the thing that made him get up and go out earlier. Shard.
Anyway, so it'd be really
It was a
interesting.
phone call
Oh,
about my
calling it?
puppy.
It will be really
Dick.
interesting to see how the game kind of defines that in terms of is my server going to have a Horde or Alliance flag in Silithus, and I think it's going to be Horde.
Oh yeah.
It's region based.
It is region based.
Oh, so the entire region. Okay.
Wow, there you go.
Well, okay. That's going to be interesting too. So anyway,
It's a laundry list of stuff. Any other hot points you want to?
so that was 7.1.5, and they also went into a lot of the things that are happening in 7.2, which I think we couldn't watch that panel specifically yesterday. Ended up watching it afterwards, but the reaction overall to this from everyone was like, "Oh my God, are you watching this right now? My head is exploding."
Yeah.
It's a real testament to the fact that they've learned their lesson from Warlords, and it will never happen again. They will shower us with as much content as they can, and 7.2 has a lot of the usual stuff. More world quests, a dungeon like a specific
Yeah,
content
not
for
the
this.
usual stuff anymore. Patch dungeons. They've been
Yeah,
we haven't gotten patch
that's
dungeons in
true.
forever. I'm so stoked about that.
There's a huge raid. They are dividing Karazhan into lower and upper. You're going to have heroics for all the dungeons, so people who were complaining they couldn't get through to experience some of the dungeons, you're going to be able to queue for them. One thing which seems really fun, and it's too bad we don't have a link anymore to talk about it, but did you see the PvP brawls?
Oh my god, I was freaking out when they're announcing that, and the fact that they're literally standing up on stage going, "We don't care if it's balanced, just go kill each other." I'm like, yes.
Yeah, best thing I heard all weekend. Will it be balanced? I can promise you it won't be.
Exactly. It's like those are probably going to last a week, and they're going to happen every couple of weeks. And to give you an idea of what they are, if you don't know, it's things like, do you remember the old Eye of the Storm battleground? You know, from the Burning Crusade.
That wasn't a good sound.
That's one of my favorite ones.
I played that like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It was. I really liked it, but then imagine this: if you're on a goat or a ram, and you can cast your spells, but you also have a button that makes you run into someone else, and if you do, they go flying off the map. It's like crazy. They have some of them which are, you take an arena map and you put 15 people versus 15 people into that arena map. It's like, what the hell is happening here? And it's, again, the perfect way to try something silly. If it's not balanced, it doesn't work, doesn't matter. It's just going to be, something you do for a week and then you move on. There's the epic class mounts that are going to top off the Garrison campaign. So every class is going to get a specific mount, which is going to be flying because you're going to be able to fly.
It's actually every spec. There's different versions based on what spec you are.
Yeah. Super surprising. Did not see that coming. That, once again, is proof that Legion is all about your class, your fantasy, you accomplishing something, also obtaining that and getting flying. They talked about not having to make you go through a bunch of dungeon content. It's all outdoor, all world questy style. Scott Johnson approved. Oh, so approved.
and
Big
the other
fat
thing,
stamp of approval for that
talking
one.
about the class, the expansion centered on the class, you also have the artifact weapons appearances. They're adding one that you can get just by doing solo content again. It's not going to be, you have to find people and blah, blah, blah. If you're the kind of people who just want to play solo, you're going to have that awesome thing you can get to. It's not going to be easy, but you can do it on your own. There's just content for everyone, and they're showering us with it. And 7.3 they alluded to, going to Argus. Basically,
Argus.
The 7.2 is the end of the expansion, kind of. You deal with the Legion, and you're done. The invasion is finished. But wait, you're like, if we don't actually finish this,
until Gul'dan is dead multiple times.
Exactly.
It's always going to come back.
So the really cool thing is they showed us that we're going to fight the corrupted avatar Sargeras. It's the first time we've really seen an official representation of Sargeras, even in avatar form. You got to think he made it look a bit like himself. So it's cool to see we're going to have that. And then right at the end of that raid is Kil'jaeden. Now, Kil'jaeden's one of the 2 lieutenants. We killed Archimond, and in Mythic, we killed him in the Nether, a.k.a. he dead. He ain't coming back. Now, if we kill Kil'jaeden on Azeroth, he will come back.
Yeah.
However, he'll go back to Argus, which is then where Illidan's like, come with me into the abyss. If we kill him on Argus, Argus is so fel-infused, it's basically the same as the Nether. So if we do that, we've then taken out the heads of the Burning Legion. The only bad guy beyond that is Sargeras himself. And beyond that, you can see why they call this Legion. There's a very real possibility that we deal with the Legion in some form and move on to a completely new form of big bad.
I just want to hear from you, Terpster. A guy who can smash worlds in 2. How do you kill that guy?
This is the interesting thing because
I shoot a bow and arrow.
So but this is the thing. I think
This is.
I also have a turtle. But
I think there's going to be there's multiple ways to defeat someone. Equally, you know, we've got some powerful guys on our side as well.
Sure.
And I think that certainly from everything else, it looks like they're trying to speed us through this content to start talking about other areas of WoW, and it's not all going to be demons all the time.
All right.
We're going to go to some other cool
get
places.
some help.
And the thing is
Shoot my arrow.
Well, once we go back,
Unleash the turtle.
I think the current thought is there's going to be a 7-4 potentially, and if there's a 7-4, what do you do after that?
I mean, I think
at some point it's like, no, just put them away again.
From a story
deal with them
standpoint,
later.
you know, what we're doing here is until 7-2, and then there's the bonus, which is going to be obviously a huge patch. With at that point, you're going to have Illidan waking up and going like, "Holy crap, what's happening? Okay, Argus, let's go!" And he knows what you want to do. He has his army. He has his army.
But I'm ready.
They've been trained to you know, hunt down the demons, and yeah, that's going to happen afterwards. After the
Yeah, so then in the Emerald Nightmare, we had all these whispers about what we're going to do and how actually in doing so, we may be creating a bigger problem for ourselves. Ooh. And so I think that lends itself quite nicely to another story, which then could be the next expansion. Which then,
the Legioning.
I think that Hearthstone players may already have an idea as to what's left in terms of bad guys from other bad guys. I don't want to get too spoily. And equally,
clearly turfs their nose.
There's also been
3 expansions.
And I kind of want Justin to get on this. There's been a ton of allusions to N'Zoth. Where does N'Zoth fit into all this?
So the idea being is that the Pillars of Creation are a way to close the portal, which I think we'll do after we come back. I imagine Illidan's like, whoa, hang on. Should we go through and finish the fight before we close it down and just wait for them to come back? And so we're like, okay, let's do it. And then we come back, close it off, but in doing so, potentially release a much bigger threat that is contained within Azeroth at the moment, something like an old god like N'Zoth. And if we're then dealing with that, and N'Zoth is the kind of the being that's kind of corrupted the Night Elf into the Naga, and all of them, and they're in the Black Temple as well, and in the Tomb of Sargeras, there's a load of Naga contingent there. It's going to be really exciting to see where they go with the story next, and equally, just that they're not stringing us along. This isn't, you know, Winds of Winter. We're not waiting for, you know, 14 years before suddenly they might finish this bit of story we're on. This seems very much like, cool, yep, and now we've got this next chapter. And you know what? We've got 8 more chapters after that. And we're going to keep bringing them to you so thick and fast. You're just going to keep going.
Okay, you got me with that
We're
one.
all 5 years old. Definitely feels like this is a clear continuation of the message we had when they announced 7.1 before the expansion launched, which is you're going to get lots of content. So that definitely made me happy.
It kind of feels like being in like an all-you-can-eat buffet, and then realizing that if they keep shoving food in my mouth, I'm just going to have to keep paying them each month because I can't leave. And that's kind of it. Like, I'm just getting so much content now. You know, there's no question about, you know, should I cancel my subscription this month?
I can't believe we're even talking about the same game now as we
But what you've got to think is that there's always been a lull at the end of the expansion. And I think Warlords was so long because we've had Legion's lull up front. They've done so much more before putting it in our hands. So we kind of had twice the lull because we've had that up front. So now we get this lovely continuous run through this one into the next expansion beyond that, which is just super exciting.
Yeah, I'll take it. By the way, great music in this expansion. It's incredible.
Oh, yeah. Did you do Suramar? Is Suramar one of yours? Suramar is just, in every way, the best thing in World of Warcraft. And the music is chiefly up there. That's,
Thank you.
Really, really good.
Thank you. That means a lot.
It's fine.
Oh, well, Chris Metzen and Taryn Gregory came to me and said, we want to do something special for Varian. And that led to the Canticle of Sacrifice, and that's my favorite thing.
Did you have anything to do with the Heroes trailer that involved Varian and Ragnaros?
Well, not personally directly, but what's really amazing and wonderful about Blizzard is that we are all kind of finishing each other's sentences. And just as there are many composers on each project, and we all have to, sometimes we're creating themes, and sometimes we're developing other people's themes. We get to the point where I don't remember who wrote what. We're on this continuum, and Heroes keeps, plucking moments out of all the other franchises and then taking them in a special direction. And in that case, Glenn Stafford, who founded the sound department, is the mastermind behind the Heroes music, and he just has knocked it out of the park with every one of these.
Yeah, I mean, usually with those Heroes trailers, we've really almost come to expect humor for the most part. I did not expect that I was going to get the most moving dedication to the most recent fallen hero from Warcraft. I was so moved.
So that was one of the first ones they've done using the Overwatch tech. So that was rendered out using the same giant red, whatever it's called.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah,
okay,
and
it was beautiful.
But equally as well, this is the great thing about Blizzard now, and I think this speaks volumes to how they've worked. They've reworked their whole pipeline so that the animations and rigs that they do in Overwatch are able to be imported and used in WoW as to be imported and used in Heroes and beyond. So they've basically created this collaborative nature across the design of all of their games, even down to the pre-rendered cinematics, the intro. That animation has been imported and was used in the Broken Shore in-game cinematic stuff, where they had crates falling off of the Skyfire ship. Was the same as in the full CG one. And it's amazing to think that they've gone to that length again, where nothing's wasted. They're always looking to collaborate and share. And yeah, it's exciting to think, what's next.
Yeah, I can't help but think of the intro hype video that was looking back at the retrospective of all the years of Blizzard development and how it started with the emphasis on Dungeons and Dragons, showing the dice, showing the pen and the paper, showing the most importantly the Dungeon Master folder, that's what I always called it, and that's all I can think of, leaving this BlizzCon, is thinking about how they, Blizzard is my DM. It is my best DM, and I will just keep returning to them so that they take me on a new journey.
Just made me think of, I remember, it wasn't all that long ago when Gary Gygax passed away. I think Mike Morheim all but sent us home for the day, seriously, and he sent a really moving note out about how much we owe to that whole, that's where we all come from. Very cool.
I was going to say one more comment about the Varian Rin trailer for him and Rag. The music hit a point where he pulls his swords apart and goes after him, and it hits that same, it refers back to that music from the intro trailer for Legion, where he yells for Azeroth and let's go, and you get that that really cool thing.
I think it sounded better in the trailer.
The acoustics in here.
Yeah, but I like two things about what you said. You guys to finish each other's sentences is a great analogy for that. I think that's a great way to explain that. But also, you guys inadvertently, or you in particular, inadvertently created Varian's theme in his most dire time, but I didn't think he had a theme. Up till now, Varian's this guy, he's got a scar, he's kind of pissed, whatever. Right?
You sound like such a horde player right now.
I know, I am. I'll admit it, I'm horde biased. I didn't care that much about Varian Rin. I just thought, well, he's got a cool ponytail, I guess, he's mad. He was in the movie for a second, so that's cool. He's just a kid or whatever. So that's all great, but something changed, and I think the music's part of that.
Sorry, not to keep piling on, but I think it's 80% the music. That theme specifically, when it first the Legion came out, I was listening to it nonstop on a loop.
Spotify, baby.
There you go.
That's one of the best things you've done as well.
You're right. I think it's absolutely that created the emotion around the character, of course with the sacrifice and everything, but the music absolutely made it come together. For me, it
immortalized that character in a way that I immediately wanted him back. I immediately felt bad that I gave him such short shrift before, I immediately thought, I don't know, Sylvanas, you maybe could have helped a little more.
Hey.
Yeah. There's a misunderstanding there, but it really did something. Now we just need Vol'jin music to do the same thing for what happened to him.
Poor Vol'jin.
It'd just be a cool kind of like it'd just be like a Caribbean, kind of festival.
Plus, nobody's really dead anyway, so it's fine.
Should we do some questions?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, exactly in the Nether, exactly.
And real quick, one more thing about the Heroes thing. I just want to say Ragnaros is really fun, effective, and rad. He is not just a two-headed fun thing to bring your friends in to play the game. Although that doesn't mean I mean anything negative toward Cho'Gall, but he's awesome and dangerous and cool and totally somebody you should all get
and once
play.
again, something that no other MOBA can do. Like, this is again Blizzard showing off with Heroes. They can create stuff unlike any other game in that genre because of how the nature of that game. And I love
they don't have to change the names for legal reasons.
No, exactly.
They own all. It's not just wispy fairy.
Come at me, LOL fans.
Dear lady, or whatever. Yeah, you can
Nature's prophet.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
So he's really good. Varian Rin's really good. The idea of a dual spec character that you can kind of decide if you want to be tanky or DPS-y at a certain point in the talent tree is super intriguing to me. I hope they retrofit existing characters with that. I hope new ones come out like that. Overall, Heroes looking good.
Solid.
Heroes is great. Solid as ever. All right. We should do questions.
Question time.
Come on up. You can grab this mic right here.
Hello, I'm Blizz Army from blizzarmy.com. Sorry, I've heard of it.
Shameless.
You've heard of it? Yeah.
Shameless.
I have two little things. One's a question, but one's one thing that came out this year was Bastion's cinematic. I'm a vet, and I've never ever watched something that kind of illustrates to people who don't understand PTSD. And I've shown some of my friends that cinematic, and not to get all, whatever, but I think that was very... Yeah, I try not to.
If there was ever a safe place, this is the safest place to get whatever.
To get whatever.
Anyway, I thought that was important, because I think we sometimes, in all the minutiae, especially people who get caught up with video games and other things, that we kind of forget what's going on. And there's a lot of people out there that play Blizzard games to keep in contact with friends and other things, and they go to war and don't come back. And so I kind of really appreciated that cinematic. And on a question note, I have some friends I would really like to either give game time, buy them expansion, maybe buy them a mount, and I look at things like Steam that has that capability really simple, but then you go into the Blizzard shop and you can't do anything remotely like that. So my question is, do you see Blizzard ever using the Steam model where you can buy things for other people?
I'm gonna say yeah, and I think this rebranding of BattleNet is probably part of that.
Is it Blizzard Tech? Is that the name?
I don't think they're going to call it that though. I think that's like an internal. Hey, this is the underpinnings of our rad services. But calling it Blizzard Tech, like I'm launching the Blizzard Tech browser, is the dumbest thing ever.
It's going to be the Blizzard launcher instead of the BattleNet launcher.
Right.
But I mean, you can gift games on the Blizzard store.
Yeah, like in-store stuff.
It's very limited though. It's like you can do some stuff, but not.
I want to buy
what you
decks
can
of
do with
cards
Steam, where
for
you can
Yeah.
every time you buy something, you say, "Is this for me or for someone else?"
The way you'd have to do it currently, well, in the future, near future, hopefully, is to send them gold in-game, and then they turn that into tokens, which then they turn into BattleNet balance.
Which means even more of my friends have to play WoW, and I like that idea.
Exactly. I think
I'd love it.
I think equally, to touch on your first point, I think one of the nicest things about Overwatch is it's been built as a game that is truly of today. And they talked about the background and the diversity of their characters and the cast. And I think it's the most appropriate place to tackle those really kind of harder issues that are realities of our world and life that I think could work in World of Warcraft, but maybe would feel strange in the kind of very theatrical setting. Not that Overwatch, it doesn't have a lot of theatre to it, but I think seeing that cinematic and experiencing that with a load of people I don't have PTSD, but I felt like I had a better understanding of what that was on the back of that. And no means trying to cheapen that from like, I think I watched a cartoon and now I get it. But I honestly did feel like this gives a kind of emotional connection that I can understand.
There was a sensitivity to it, like they knew somehow, or they knew that what they were going to show, they didn't want to minimize it or trivialize it. They wanted to say, well, what is it to hear a woodpecker sound like a gun, and what does that trigger in you? Like they were, how do I put this? They were just, they were sensitive about it. Like that felt like care had been taken.
But that's where that is art succeeding. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, it's art, and it's one of the purposes of it is to get across a point that you can't get across otherwise. Whether it's writing, whether it's drawing, whether it's animating, whether it's making a game.
Yeah, and it's Bastion. We're all pissed at Bastion most of our time.
Yeah. But chiefly, again, that was done with no dialogue.
Yeah.
That whole cinematic was sound and music and the emotion that invokes, and it is one of those things that is the straight direct route to the heart and soul and emotion, and it's it's messed up because
I'll tell you this,
you could play. You're like a hypnotist in some ways, aren't you? Really, you're like, if I wanted to, I could make you cry. Like, I wouldn't even have to touch it.
It's called a minor chord.
That's what it is.
It's very easy, but no. But like the other thing too is that it was really well done and well put together. But what really puts it all together is then when someone comes to you and tells you the emotion they had from it, and then you kind of like share their experience. Because I had my experience when I watched it, and I enjoyed it, but my kind of reaction was, I want to play Bastion now. But then I hear someone else's reaction, and I go, I see it that way too now. And it's like, you take one piece that now you have both watched, and you hear it from both sides, and you can kind of then go, oh my God, now I can reverse
it's
and
common
understand a little bit
now.
of your
Exactly. We all share
which
these
I couldn't
same
have.
cultural touch points now.
I couldn't
so you
have
can describe
without
stuff.
this.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so a really fantastic thing. I think the Blizzard
it frames it.
Deserves huge kind of applause and thanks for that. And I think everything they're doing with the Overwatch shorts is just fantastic. It's taking games into the art space and beyond. And just make a movie already. Come on, guys. Yes.
Yeah, what's going on?
By the way, Blizz Army comes up with the dopest decks ever.
Yeah.
Well, my buddy.
All right, we have another question. Somebody want one? Come on up front. These don't go very far. Sorry.
This is going to be interesting.
Do it over there.
I guess the best thing would be if you have a question, maybe line up over. This is about the only pathway.
And then you can come up.
You're good,
David.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'm just trying to expedite the process.
There's people lined up. All right.
Have them line up. So if you got a question, if you want to line up back at the gentleman raising their hand,
okay,
we'll cycle them through.
All right.
Cycle them through.
Here you go.
All right.
Use mine. It's kind of hard to follow that question, but Hearthstone related. There are only 9 tri-class cards in the new expansion. Is that enough? Are they playing it too safe?
I don't know until I've seen them all, and this is why the drip feed is the worst thing in the history of video game hype.
Yeah, and you guys are the ones most subject to that. I mean,
it's a funny thing for me to complain about because the drip feed makes Angry Chicken write itself.
Yeah.
Okay, there's going to be 5 to 7 cards a week. Cool, our episode is done. But
it's great for our podcast, terrible for us as players.
It's hard for us to have a deep conversation.
Yeah, but I'll say this: we were told today it's 132 cards.
Yep.
If all 132 cards were tri-class cards, that would be fine with me, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd kind of be okay with it.
I would be fine with it, because there'd be so much crossover and interesting kind of counterplay within that. Now, that being said, I don't ever expect that to happen with the Hearthstone expansion, but I think 9 cards is enough to introduce some very interesting stuff into the game. So I could go with 27, I could go with 18, I could go with 9. I could go with 132. It's enough. It's not but I don't know what's best or not best.
Well,
they do, and I trust them.
Yeah, we're going to get to see over the coming weeks different kind of streamers and personalities tell us why the card they were given is terrible. And so, I can't wait for that. Honestly, this card will never see play, and then it ends up.
And then it does. Yeah.
But obviously, it's a terrible card. It's terrible.
But anyway, that's also part of what's hard with the drip feed, because you basically
see it in isolation.
You have to look at it in a vacuum.
Yeah, that's true. Who's next? Who we got next? Nobody? That's it?
All right, cool, because I'm hungry.
Yeah. Cool. Actually, that's probably about it anyway. We've gone pretty long. I do want to, one quick thing. So, Russell, you have told me numerous times, been in Nerdtacular a couple of times, certainly every year we're here, and Russell always crashes the party, and we love it. Always have John there, usually at Nerdtacular, just love these guys. And a big change happened this year that affected the entire company and certainly the player base. And today, it was a noticeable absence not to have Chris Metzen here. And while he went out on top and had an amazing Legion launch, and Overwatch is an unmitigated success.
Dude, he was here. I watched the costume contest.
Did they have a cosplay
He was here.
of Metzen? Did they have a Metzen cosplay? Oh, I missed it.
Dude, you missed that?
Yeah, I totally missed it. I need to see pictures. I'll go back.
It was the best.
But you've said to me numerous times, including a panel with him at Nerdtacular 2015 last year, you said, Chris Metzen is my muse. In other words, his story ideas, his creativity fed so well into what then you would create, and then back the other way. I just wanted to know if you had anything to say about him. It's not like they were going to mention anything up on the stage, and I think that's the right thing to do. You just keep moving. But I think we all felt him missing. I've been chatting with him on and off over the last couple of days, and he's missing
let's not
everybody.
forget who's just returned to Blizzard, though. Alan Adams back.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
He retired.
Sure.
You know, I think it's a little bit like dying in the nether. You know, Metzen's not died in the nether. That's what I'm saying. So,
that's a good point. There's still hope.
There's still hope. We're going to have a quest in the few
Nobody
expansion time.
really died.
Yeah.
No one really needs Blizzard.
Only 10 years. It's fine. I'll probably be dead. But anyway, I'm curious what you... I don't know, just any thoughts. And you don't have to... I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm just curious about this, given that symbiotic relationship that you guys enjoyed for so long.
Is it just me, or does Alan Adham sound like Matthew McConaughey?
All right.
So Chris was the first person I reported to when I started at Blizzard, and in fact, he and Mike Morheim interviewed me back in 2005. And I've had several people I've reported to over the almost 11 and a half years I've been there, and I'm really glad he was the first, because while he, wasn't so much about, the logistics and the admin stuff, what he did do is he instilled in me so much about what made Blizzard unique. And being that I had come from this background of working at Disney and doing all this stuff that was so story-driven, I really found that I had a kindred spirit in him. I mean, in the first moment I met him, I thought, who's this guy with the movie star glasses and the earrings? And am I supposed to take him seriously? And what's this all about? Sorry, Chris, if you're listening.
He is.
But again, a kindred spirit, and everything. When I needed to understand what to do with the next project, or find where the heart and soul of the next project was, he could let me know in just a few words, and I really valued that. And the cool thing is that even though, he's taking time with his family and enjoying his new little one and all of that, it's like he's still here in a lot of ways. And the reason I think that is because when someone like that is such a force of good and someone who just is so creative and so charismatic, he leaves a little part of himself in every one of us. And I think that, he most feared that we would be going, well, what would Chris do? What would Chris want? And he more or less told us not to do that. And again, my coming from Disney, I am actually old enough to recall that there were a bunch of folks who had been working when Walt passed away, and they actually made the mistake of asking, what would Walt do? And to the point that they got to paralysis of decision making and creativity, because they were not thinking for themselves. They were trying to imagine what Walt would want. And Chris instinctively knew that wasn't the right way to go. So he said, just keep on doing what you're doing. And for my part, and I see this a lot in my colleagues, it's not that we're thinking, what would he do? It's that he just instilled in us a lot of really important ways of looking at things, the ways of solving problems, the way of approaching creativity. And so I think we just instinctually take sort of the same tack, just like you would from, if you had a favorite teacher growing up and you find yourself sometimes going, wow, I just made a choice that is very much in keeping with something I haven't thought about in 20 years, but I was exposed to long ago. That's kind of the way it is. He's one of my best friends, and I miss having his face around there day to day. But yeah, his influence is solid. The crew there it's still Blizzard. It's the Blizzard culture, and a lot of the things that people have talked about today, just taking the long view and thinking about how it's not just about patch 7.1 and 7.2 and what might be coming after that. The long view is being taken. There are things about 7.2 that speak to what could happen many years from now in the world of Warcraft, for instance. So this is the kind of thing that it's the way he worked, it's the way he thought. So I think things are going to be just fine. I just miss his face around every day.
Wow.
And he gives good hugs.
I love you, Russell Brower.
It's like Turner said, he almost made me cry. It's magical.
Well,
I don't know.
Pour one out or down or in
he's
for
listening
Christmas.
somewhere up there.
Yeah, he's up there somewhere.
Somewhere, like
twisting
the full floor or something like that.
He'll come back soon, though.
He'll hate that
twisting the other is only perm.
He'll hate that we got sappy about it when he finds out. It's okay though, because we weren't able to do this kind of thing for him as a giant 25,000 crowd out there today. So I think it's okay that we got to do this for him in here. So thank you for those sentiments. I think that was nice. One big round of applause for Chris Metz and everybody.
I think for someone who wasn't here, his name was mentioned many, many times as a BlizzCon.
Yep.
His legacy lives on.
That's right. All right. Well, I think we're about done. The only last thing I would say is, once again, and I always try not to get too sappy at the end of these things, but I really appreciate these guys up here. I appreciate the Angry Chicken's willingness to mix it up with us tonight. It was actually his idea. Garrett had a great idea.
No, it was Jocelyn's. It was all
Jocelyn's idea. No, it was
guys, just because it went a bit wrong, you can't blame.
Can't just throw that all on her. But it was a great idea. We were able to kind of, get a one shot, but also sort of expand the conversation. I really appreciate everybody up here. They're not just quote unquote co-workers in the podcasting world, but they're great friends, and it means a lot to me. Patrick's even better with one less tooth. Yeah, I feel so bad about his tooth.
Sorry.
Having Randy here is a big deal for me. It's just, this show back in the day was something that really grew during our tenure as hosts, and in a lot of ways, it's kind of like the Metzen thing. They're the people that have been on the show, especially Randy. We have this. You make a footprint, and it carries forward. I love where we're at now. I love where we were then. I love where we're headed, and I'm so grateful there's a company like Blizzard making rad stuff that we can all talk about and love together and play. But most of all, we love you guys, and I want to thank you guys for being here tonight. For those home listening, we missed you. We hope we see you next time. And I just want to thank you all for being here and supporting the show and being great listeners. And let's do a normal show next week and act like none of this ever happened. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Travel home safely.
Scott, are you telling the story?
Oh, you want to hear the story real fast?
Yes.
Oh, there's a story.
All right. So this awesome couple over here. Stand up real quick, both of you.
Story about blowing it and also not blowing it. All at once.
So a couple of weeks ago, sends me an email. Says, "Hey, I wondered if you might do me a favor." And I said, "What's that?" He says, "During your Heroes of the Storm, Calm Before the Storm panel, and we're gonna throw some toys at everybody here in a second, so I don't go anywhere. Will you help me propose to my girlfriend?" And I said, "Oh, heck yeah, we love doing that. We've done stuff on shows before. We've done things at Spectacular. People get married there. It's just great. I'd love it, right?" I'm like, "Yes, absolutely. Let's do this." I said, "Make sure you send me a reminder." He did. He was all Johnny on the spot the whole time. So don't forget, we got
Quite a
this
big deal
thing.
for him, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Kinda.
And yet you entrusted Scott's mistake.
So mistake number 1 was me not telling Kim this was going on, because she would have made sure I remembered it and made sure we were not only ready for it, we probably would have enhanced it in some great way. Where are you, honey? Oh, hi, right over there. Anyway, so day comes. It's crazy, as you know. We get here, everyone's talking, we're all catching up, and blah, 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 right up to the moment that Garrett's panel ends. It's our turn to get up there. So we get up there, and I am so stoked and energized. I just do a panel, and I'm asking the questions and doing the thing, and everyone's been contributing, and it's great, and we got audience questions, and I completely freaking forget. Like, completely forgot. And I didn't remember until we were doing signings. He got in line with her, came up to the front, and said, "Remember me?" Held this up. And it took me a second, and I went, "Oh my gosh." I mean, I really felt like hiding and like melting and going into a hole or something.
You didn't like blow it then and say, "Oh yeah, you were going to propose, weren't you?"
So the good news is, he had in the interim gone outside to the fountain, proposed. She said yes. They're very happy. They're a very happy couple. They're very sweet, and I still have to figure something out. Kim's like, "You got to go to that wedding." And other people are like, "You need to perform it," or I don't know what else.
Yes. No, you need to be the band.
You're right. I need to be the band at their wedding.
You need to learn how to play all the instruments.
The wedding singer. That'll be good. But anyway, that's the story, and I was so embarrassed. But I'm so happy for you guys. Congratulations, and I wish you nothing but like the best 50, 60, 80 years that you live together, despite what I did.
I'm going to go one further. 90 years.
You heard it right here.
Madison's always improving.
Last people I'd like you to clap for. This all happens nicely, and we all get together and we have fun. Some of us by the seat of our pants. I'm super busy over this weekend, as are everybody at this table. But one of the key reasons any of this happens and we get the job done is because my wife and my kids help me do it. So I just want to say thanks, honey, and Nick and Carter for being here this year and helping out and all that. So thanks. They're the best.
Obviously, the Guildhall being here. Without that, none of us could be here.
There's no
So
this equipment, Pat, I owe you. I don't know what I owe you. Something. I got to figure that out. Everybody who helped us out, it just makes such a huge difference. And our special guests, Russell, John, you guys are amazing. Necromancer all the way, 2017. Yes, let's do this. I can't wait. And Holika, who is here. I think that's it. Anybody, any final thoughts, words?
No, because I'm just going to ask John more questions.
Scott Johnson, everybody. Scott Johnson. Give it up for that guy.
Oh yeah. Let's throw out some toys. Where'd that bag go? Oh, here it is.
Okay.
Okay, so we got a bunch of these balls with like little convertible characters. Come on.
Scott's throwing his balls, guys.
That's right.
Who wants Scott's ball?
Do be careful. I caught a couple on my chin earlier, and it hurt like hell. Okay, he swings them around.
Then you got used to it. It was fine.
Oh, Patrick Pease.
Yeah, you guys ready?
Hey, maybe stick around and come up for balls after.
It's like a raffle. It's like a raffle.
Also, pictures and stuff.
Tim's going to bring some in the rear.
So you can do that if you want.
Scott, what are you doing?
I didn't mean anything. Wow. For everybody else, the heck is that?
That's the inside of one of them. That's what you click the balls on top and they make a person.
That's a half.
So throw that too.
Pepe's body.
Throw inside the balls.
Anyway, I'm going to just dump these. Well, that's a bad idea.
Give them back.
Dump my balls.
I'm going to do this. Whoever gets them first, they're welcome to them.
That sounds pretty dangerous
Thank
as well.
you for that, for bringing those. Thank you all again. Have a great night. Sleep well. Travel safe.